Hey folks, Kevin here. Well, it's May 21st, 2023, and I thought what I'd do is give you a quick garden update. Uh, we've been working around here and things have worked out, but we've also been very busy with the books reselling business. Yesterday morning we had a big library sale and that went pretty well, but there were so many resellers there. People were literally climbing all over each other, so we got exposed to lots of people, and Thea and I just aren't feeling up to speed today. But I thought I'm going to take it easy the rest of the afternoon today. Last night we did get some rain. We got about a half an inch of rain, so that really is going to help out all the things that we've transplanted recently. I had some big missions for today, but not all of it worked out. So we'll start over here with the thornless blackberry plants. I tried making a video yesterday, but the camera died, so I'll try and finish that. The battery died, I think is what happened. And that's digging up some of the thornless blackberry plants from up front there where we had them for several years. And last fall we transplanted them into here. Today I just ran the stirrup hoe down here. Oh, I should mention this. The first thing I mentioned was it rained last night. These are not the times to use a stirrup hoe when it's been raining. When the soil's moist, the roots touch the ground and they'll come right back. But I needed to get some of it stirred up and expose these. And I did replant a couple of these thornless blackberry plants here. And I put a few in pots over there against the wall of the building. But here we are. The thornless blackberry plants are starting to leaf out some. Some are still a little bit slower. And some of the ones, and this is one that I transplanted yesterday. It'll do fine, but I should water it again tonight and all. So I cut back the tops quite a bit. And when I was weeding, I wiped out one over there, so I got one more to transplant over in here. But you get an idea, hopefully, just how these guys are doing over the last week and a half, I think it's been, since I got in here. Thea's been working yesterday and today trying to get out all of the staples. So with the weed mats, these are a godsend. The drip tapes and the weed mats work so well for us. It decreases the amount of weeding that we have to do. It makes life much more pleasant when you're running an operation like this. But one of the things I would say, what's going on with my camera here? One of the things I would say is that if you're not using like a galvanized or aluminized staples, they do rust, and then it tears the fabric apart, and the big rust particles get so big it can get right into the root ball of plants like the blueberry plants, which can actually damage the plants as well. So the blueberry plants are all doing excellent. We got a couple that we transplanted back in here. Thea did, I think yesterday she did it, yesterday or the day before. So these two rows are the ones that we replanted this last fall. These were out in the first food forest. These three rows here are ones that we've had for a few years. We started off from little cuttings, and we purchased those rather. And you can see some of the honeybees in here. Lots of activity. And the honeyberries are doing pretty well, leafing out over here. Take a quick walk around these guys. A lot of their flowers are done, but there'll be a second bloom of some of the flowers for them. There are some weeds in here, got to get out. Now I just see this, dang it. I broke off the root on that dandelion. Dang it. Blueberries look great. Honeyberries here are really looking good. And you see the difference between the two different cultivars of these two different types of honeyberries. But all of them did well, and I haven't got around to pruning any yet. And we've got lots of the cleavers in here, which I call them Velcro, pain right in the butt. But we have some pruning to do and more work to do in here. I'm hoping within the next week or so to get over here and extend the drip tapes down so I can get all the irrigation automated for us. I haven't gotten that done yet. Way behind. Now let's walk over to the central garden, which not much has happened over here at all. Oh, there's a pair of the geese with their babies. We've got quite a few sets of geese with their babies. This one's got, looks like 5 babies. Don't know if you could see them. They're right by the elephants right now. And out by pond 7, there's probably about 25 or 30 babies out there. And these ones may be heading back there, but they cruise all over the place around here. A real perk for our enjoyment here. We really love that. Last fall, after we took our crops out of here, we had tomato plants and pepper plants, and we had potato plants over there. What else do we have? I can't even remember. But then we put in the cover crops. I didn't cover them or terminate them, and they've been doing pretty well. I did mow this last week. It took me the whole week to mow, and so I ended up wiping out a lot of the dandelions that are out there, and we love dandelions. The bees love them. So we're not going to terminate these guys here, let them go to seed, because the bees are enjoying all of these flowers as well. So we did get some work done in the eastern garden plot, so that's where we're heading right now. We'll see how things look in here. Oh, I'll go over to the Eagle herb garden first. Thea got in here and got pruned, pruning all of the thyme, the lavender. There's the lavender there, nice lavender plant. The sage getting ready to flower now. The thyme, some of it's flowering. And Thea has been working on our front area, the herb garden up front, which we're going to be modifying, and we'll be making some videos about how we're going to modify that. We're actually going to put some of our Japanese red maples up in that area as well. So sorry about the noise. We just posted a video. Sorry about the camera here. About prepping the whole cattle panel trellis here that we've had for years, and it works extremely well. We had actually 1, 2, 3 up until last year, and we get more than enough beans from this one trellis here. So the height of this is about 7.5 feet high, and at the sides it's about 5 foot high right here. The posts are these are 6 foot posts, and they're down about 1.5 feet. And you could see we weeded the area, then added compost, and then direct seeded the soaked scarlet red runner beans along just underneath where the drip tape is, right where the cattle panel is located. And then we went ahead and put cardboard down as a form of sheet mulching, and put the mulch on top of the cardboard, on top of the beans, and on top of the inside part here. She also spread out some white clover seed over in here. And last year we put clover and chamomile in here, and that's worked out extremely well. So we'll see how things work. I'm kind of excited about how the paths are turning out. It just took a year for it to work out. Last year during the garden videos, you probably heard me saying, oh, we might be using the weed mats again over in here. We may still use weed mats in between the rows. But, and the other thing I'll just mention, I'll bring the camera down here a little bit lower. So there's quite a depth difference between the base of the paths and the height of our permanent raised beds. Unlike what other permaculturists and other gardeners do, market gardeners do, they usually just have maybe just like 1 inch or 2 inches slightly above. But with our with our bodies, it just makes it much easier to have wide paths with big mounds to grow everything in. And that way you can sit comfortably if you've got to do some weeding or pruning or harvesting fruit. All of those things are much easier, much more comfortable. We aren't as flexible, agile, and pain-free as we used to be when we were young. So I think that this system works pretty darn well for us. The garlic is doing great. It's growing every single day. And so we're pretty happy with the garlic here. We still haven't had the drip irrigation hooked up here at all. Our raspberry, and we've had high winds here for days and days. Several days I did work out here and I just couldn't record anything because if I set the camera up it'd get blown over. And certainly no audio was possible. So a lot of the plants took a big hit, but the raspberry plants, they're doing okay. This one got wiped out by the wind here and snapped. And here they are over here as well. So we just got to give them some time, and I've got to get this drip irrigation system hooked up over here as well. So that's just something we've got to do. So you can see they're doing pretty well, considering these were all just transplanted, I think about a week ago now. I completely lose track of time. So those are doing pretty well. Thea pulled out the drip tapes, the irrigation system for where we had the russet potatoes last year, and I was hoping to go ahead and get this flail mowed today, and where the sweet potatoes grow. Since I'm not feeling up to it, I'm going to hold off on that right now. Oh, the shallots. Shallots are doing very well. Really well. 2 rows of shallots, and boy, these buggers do absolutely. These are the Dutch red shallots with such a long storage life. Man, these are much better than I ever thought they would be. They store better than garlic or onions. Do great. Again, I'm really looking forward to seeing the scarlet red runners start shooting up in all the flowers. The hummingbirds just absolutely love them. And here's where the sweet potatoes will go with the winter rye here. And I want to flail mow this soon. Maybe tomorrow I'll feel up to it. And the clover, white clover here, and that's about as tall as it gets, this white clover. It's absolutely fantastic, and the bees love it. And it tramples. It withstands us walking on it pretty darn well. It keeps recovering. The strawberries that I transplanted, you may remember I had a couple of big clumps of them here, and I separated them out and put them right down along the central line here. So they're doing pretty darn well. And I don't really care to get strawberries this year. Yes, we love our strawberries. I just want these to send out the runners to the sides so that we can get more strawberry plants in the future. Over here, we do have a couple of the thornless blackberry plants that are popping up a bit. I'm still going to give them more time. And you may be able to see some of the honeyberries are just starting, the buds are starting to break. Really hard to see some of them, but some of them are their buds break a little bit earlier. So these were short little cuttings that we stuck over in here when we did our fall transplants this last fall. And these are the ones when I was doing the mulching and all that. These are the thornless blackberry plants I put up here. So we just got to be patient with them. And it would be best if we keep them watered. So the drip irrigation system's got to be hooked up. So I did get the rest of the totes in here. We'll have to see. One of the things I would say is our oak trees, our white oaks and our swamp white oaks aren't doing as well as I had hoped. And I think the reason is because I'd put them in the buckets, and instead of putting them inside the building, this is last fall, so we put compost around the bundles of probably 10 to 20 groups of seedling white oaks and swamp white oaks, kept them in little bundles with like rubber bands around them, and then put them in compost inside of buckets, and then I left the buckets outside over winter, and a lot of them paid we're paying the price for it, so a lot of them aren't going to survive, I don't think. So we'll see. So here's some of the swamp white oaks here. You can see some of them are leafing out, and I don't know if I'm holding the camera too close here. These are the chestnuts. These ones are doing okay so far. They're starting to leaf out. Our ones from last year, they're all this tall now, which is really nice. They're doing great. This is a curly kale. Thea put 4 curly kale plants in here. I mulched these the other day. These some more of the swamp white oaks. Only one leafed out in here. Just a couple leafing out over here. The swamp white oaks here. Same thing here. Just a couple leafing out so far, but we'll be patient and see what we get. And our white oaks, the ones I really want the most, boy, only a couple of these are leafing out, and the wood looks dead to me with these white oaks. These are some of the English oaks. I made a video about transplanting some of these up around the swale at the top of the property, up by the 3rd food forest. So we've got several in here. We'll see how well they do. I got one that I don't think is going to make it. So I got 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, 9 English English oaks here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It looks like 6 or maybe 7 in here. I've got to prune these. I'm going to let them declare themselves first, and just 3 over in here. And again, the kale, the chestnuts, swamp white oaks in here, and the white oaks down there at the end. So that about wraps up our tour of the gardens down here. I had hoped to make several videos and get the drone out and go around, because all the different timing of each one of the various fruit and nut trees, they flower at different times, and so it's been very colorful, but most of the flowers have blown off. We did have a couple of good freezes in the last week, so hopefully that won't affect our fruit production this year. But if it does, that's okay. And I think that's about it. I wish I were able to record more, or even some of the stuff I've tried recording, the batteries kept working in them. But it's not for not trying. So anyways, I want to wrap up this video here. If you have any comments or questions, please leave them below. We'll try to get back to you as soon as we can. And by all means, folks, stay safe, take good care of yourselves, and get outside and enjoy the beautiful weather while it lasts. Take care now. Bye-bye.